It's virtually impossible to give you a budget, a monthly budget of how much it costs to live out here, to be exact, to your particular needs. So I thought what I would do today, to give it its best chance, to give you an idea on how much it costs you to live, you personally, I'll tell you what my budget is, what I spend every month, and how I live. And you can tweak it to your style. If you think you're going to live a little bit more luxurious to me, then of course you can increase your budget, and if you think I'm overspending, then you can reduce your budget. Now, for myself, living here in Thailand, I live a fairly I would say a good lifestyle. I don't live a cheap Charlie lifestyle. I'm not eating every meal on the street in off food carts. But on the other hand, if I eat out, I'm eating in mid-price restaurants. I'm not flash. I'm not a wealthy person, but I enjoy life out here. So what I'll do, I'll run through my costs and I'll give you a total at the end. And after I've given you that total, I'll also tell you some other things you might need to think about as a monthly budget for yourself that I don't actually spend, but it could be relevant for yourself, okay? So let's kick off with the first, the biggest expense that you'll have out here if you live here in Thailand. Now, this budget, before I get into it, it does assume that you've already moved into your apartment, you've already paid your deposit, you've got all your appliances, you've gone out and bought your big 55, 60-inch flat screen TV, you're now settled down and you're ready to start enjoying your life here in Thailand. So the first regular monthly expense you're going to have is the cost of your condominium rent, your apartment, okay? So I've been paying 20,000 baht for the last 2 years. It went up by just 1,000. I'm currently paying 21,000 baht a month. For that, I've got 51 square meters, a separate bedroom. I have a small balcony, a washing machine, and it's a very, very comfortable apartment. I'm quite close to the park, Benja Kitty Park, and I'm within half a mile of the BTS Nana station, Asok. So it's a very, very good location, and it's a very well appointed apartment. Now, of course, you can get cheaper if you go smaller or you move out of the city. But then when you're into Thai neighborhoods, you might not necessarily understand the menus in restaurants. They don't always have photographs like they do in a tourist area, and less people will speak English. So you've got to take on board all these things when you're planning where you want to live. I would say anywhere between kind of 16,000 to 25,000. You're going to get something quite reasonable. I'm talking about Bangkok. In somewhere like Pattaya, you're going to find something like I've got here for around 10, 12,000. It's a lot cheaper down there. Okay, my electricity for a month, bearing in mind I do all my own washing. I've got a washing machine. I have a couple of showers a day because of the humidity. I'm currently spending about 1,800 baht. Sometimes that can be as low as 1,500 baht a month. Another month it could be 2,000. But on average, it's around 17 to 18,000 baht per month for my electric. Water for showering, obviously you don't use the same water for drinking. It's not safe to drink the tap water here. So water for showering, washing the dishes, the washing machine, the bill is very, very nominal. It's about 140, 150 baht a month, very, very cheap. Now, drinking water, this is where you can save, if you do it properly, you can save quite a lot of money. Originally, when I came here, I used to go to 7-Eleven and I used to buy these 5-litre plastic bottles with handles, and I'd carry them up to my apartment myself. It doesn't seem like you're spending a lot of money. They work out at about, I think they're around 55 baht, 65 baht per 5 litres. You buy 2, you take them to your apartment, and it doesn't seem like you're spending a lot, but you've only got 10 litres, so you're getting through a lot of them in a month, okay? And it does add up, and you don't necessarily think about it. So I've signed up with a company called Sprinkle. They deliver to my front door 18-litre tanks. Now, when you initially sign up for the first time, you get 12 bottles plus 2 free, so 14 in all. They don't bring 12 bottles to your apartment. You're not storing them. You get a credit note for 14, and then the second time you pay your bill, it'll be 12 and then 12. What happens every Thursday at my apartment, they'll put the bottle outside my door. They'll exchange it for a full one, and when it's time to pay the bill again, they'll send me a text message saying I need to renew. I'm only spending, believe it or not, I'm only spending about 300 baht a month on drinking water. If I go out to the park or I want to take a bottle of water on my bike, something like that, then I'll fill up from the large tank here. I've got a free electric pump with it as well, so I'm only spending around 300 baht on water. The only other time I buy water is if I'm in a restaurant, but I'll tell you what I spend in restaurants and grocery shopping a little bit later on, okay? Well, we'll get into the grocery shopping now. Now, one thing here I've discovered, if you live here, you're not going to do all your groceries in one particular store, because some things you can get in one store, you can't get them in another shop. You have shops that specialize in imported goods, like Villa, for instance. I buy things from there. I buy a lot of food online from Lazada and Shopee. There's some good options on there for foreign products, but also shops like Big C and Lotus now, they're very, very good. They have imported aisles now. They've just started that. So, and I do a lot of cooking at home. So my grocery shopping is about 10,000 baht a month. That doesn't include what I use in what I buy from 7-Eleven, beers and that. I'll get into that later. Generally speaking, I do a lot of cooking at home. I batch cook. I make my own burgers from lean meat. I make stews and soups. I make shepherd's pies, other pies. I bought myself a chest freezer, and it's very, very easy. When I'm editing videos or something, I'll just pop it in the freezer. So on average, I'm spending about 10,000 baht. I do go out to eat as well. Now, obviously, the more I spend in a restaurant outside, the less I'm going to spend on groceries and vice versa. So at the moment, dining in mid-price restaurants, and when I say mid-price, I'm talking about things like Sunshine Tacos in Terminal 21, the Sportsman on Soy 13, the Red Lion, places like that. You're looking at about, with a drink, around 400 baht. So currently, I do go out to lunch quite often with friends. I'm spending on average in restaurants about 8,000 baht a month. That might sound like a lot, but it soon tops up when you go out, 2 or 3 times a week. I've got a scooter. You probably will want a scooter as well to nip around on. If you don't, I'll give you my transportation costs as well. But at the moment, the scooter, I'm talking about my monthly bills, okay? I'm not talking about yearly. I mean, the initial of buying it and everything. So I'm putting about 300 baht of fuel in. If I don't go out of town, I've just started doing some long trips on it. I've got the Honda ADV now, fantastic bike, 160. If I'm just in Bangkok, I'm putting about 300 baht per month in the fuel tank. That's just to nip up to Lotus and Big C and hospital, that sort of thing. So not a lot. So the scooter, for the tax and insurance for the scooter, because you have to tax and insure it for the year. So for the year, it's about 2,500 baht. I've broken that down over 12 months. It works out at 208 baht a month to pay for the insurance and the tax, and then you've got the 300 fuel. So just over 500 a month covers everything. Now, I haven't put tires or maintenance or oil or anything like that, because I've got a brand new scooter. Those costs are going to come years down the line. I might have the odd oil change, filter, that sort of thing, but it's going to be nominal fee, a few hundred baht. So I haven't actually put that into the budget yet, as I don't need it. The next thing you need to think about is your public transport, BTS and MRT, taxis, that sort of thing. So even though I have a car and a scooter, I haven't budgeted in the car, because you probably won't have one, but I've budgeted in the scooter. But even if you have a scooter, you're going to take public transport. If I want to go to the MBK Centre, or I want to go over to the Fortune Mall for some electronics, it's very, very busy traffic, and it can get very tiring on the arms on a bike. So it's easier for me to just jump on the BTS or the MRT. So currently, my BTS and MRT charge about 500 baht a month. If you're not going to get yourself a scooter, it might be as much as 1,000 baht a month, but a very good way to get around the city. Obviously different if you live in another part of Thailand, like Hua Hin or upcountry, Pattaya, somewhere like that. Now, bars and nightlife, this is where the budget really gets tricky. So if you're one of those people who are coming out here and you intend to go to Nana Plaza and Soy Cowboy every other night, and you're going to be bar fining ladies and paying drinks and something, you need to triple this budget, because it is expensive in the entertainment places, okay? If you're coming out here for the first time to live, and you've been out here a few times on vacation, and you like that sort of thing, what I would say to you is bring a budget that you can blow. So you can say to yourself, okay, for the first month or 6 weeks, I am going to go to Nana, or I am going to go to Cowboy, I am going to go out every night. You have your budget. Once that blowout budget is gone, then you know, okay, I'm now here as an expat, I need to settle down and I need to get into gear. You can still go out to bars a few times a week. You can still entertain the ladies up to a point, but it's one of the biggest costs you need to keep in mind, and that's something you need to keep a cap on. And it can be difficult when you move out here. You can get lonely sometimes when you're sitting in your apartment and you think, there's a bar downstairs, I can talk to people there, and it's very tempting to keep going out. So that is where you're going to have to rein in pull yourself in on your budget. So at the moment, I've given up going to go-go bars. They're kind of wearing thin for me now. I used to go here when I was in my late 30s. I was out all the time. I enjoyed them, but they don't do a lot for me now. I find them very, very boring. So what I tend to do is I tend to go out for meals with friends, or I'll go to somewhere like Country Roads where they have a live band on. I'll go out for happy hours that finish at 9. I'm generally back home by about 10. So my personal budget, and I'm not buying ladies' drinks or anything like that. So my personal budget for bars and nightlife and entertainment is about 8,000 baht a month, 2,000 baht a month, which is a very small budget. But I'm not basically going out to these venues. Now, obviously, it will change if I go down to Patti for 3 or 4 nights. My entertainment budget will go up, and I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. Now, if you're an older guy, you're probably going to be on some kind of medication. I am, and you do have to buy your medications. You can buy them in a pharmacy over the counter normally. I take 4 medications, and at the moment, I'm paying about 1,800 baht a month for all my medication. Any extras, I'll budget that in later on. Now, you also need to think about hospital checkups. I'm not a hypochondriac, but I do have quite a lot of checks. I want to know what state my body's in. I've recently just had a dye pumped through my veins to see if I've got any clogged arteries. Luckily, I'm good. That cost me 29,000, but that's not the sort of thing I'm going to budget into this video today, because that was a one-off. But I would say over a year, I probably spend about 40,000 baht on dentist work and hospitals and checkups and everything. That may sound a lot, but when you break it down over 12 months, it's about 3,333 baht a month, and I'm getting the best medical, the best medical care, as it were, best dentistry, and very, very good service.